The Barcelona elections are taking place this week, so I asked the three candidates to the presidency to answer exactly the same three questions. And you're about to hear what the answers are, and I hope that gives you a little bit of a picture of what they want to do and the situation of Barcelona right now. What is your position regarding the future of Leo Messi?
Well, we've been explaining this. For us, the association between Messi and Barca and Messi, is very strategic, both in the short term from a sports project perspective. The team leading the sports organization obviously believe that retaining Messi is key. Obviously, having the best of the world and the best in the history in your team is a gift. So retaining him, I understand the sports organization when they tell us, please do everything you can to retain him, right? And from a more institutional perspective, it's also very strategic to find a way to keep this association in the mid-long run, even the day that Messi retires, right? And I think that we have good news because Messi himself has been telling us that these two objectives can be achieved because he would love to retire at FC Barcelona. He's always been saying this despite the events we had this last summer. He's even told us what he needs for this to happen, which is he needs a competitive sports project. And number three, he recently has also said that in the longer run, he would love to be associated to the club. He wants to live here in Barcelona with his family. So I believe that we have all the ingredients to make it happen.
You now have got a lot of detail on the finances of the club. Do you think you can afford him?
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of also a bit surprised to see that there's many people, members, even journalists that are kind of surprised to learn about the details of the finances of the club. But this is what we've been saying for long, right? And we've been talking about the perfect storm and the challenge and the need to have a very solid project with people that have a strong track record in managing complex business situations, because we knew that the situation was as it is. Obviously, we learned in the last few hours a bit more details about how much money we owe to which clubs for which players and all these things we did not know. But the overall magnitude of the challenge has always been there. And reality is that this challenging financial situation is not, obviously in the case of Barca, is more extreme because before the pandemic, there were mistakes made. But the challenging financial situation is a reality for most clubs. For us to be able to afford Messi, it's obviously also clear that we need to become creative and make use of this longer-term association. I think that opens up a very interesting door for us to see if we can come up with something which is attractive to Messi, and also that the club can afford.
Well, Messi is the best player ever in football history. And for us, it's a big proudness to count on him till the end of his career. But we know that at this point, Messi will finish his contract with Barca at the end of the season. So we must be able to offer him a big framework with good conditions in competition, with a good atmosphere in the club, and as well with economical conditions sustainable for the club. So we expect to sit down with him and to give to him conditions to make him decide to stay with us for a long time. And we consider that Messi at this time, he prioritized football conditions than economical conditions. So we are optimistic to count on him for the future.
So you think that you will convince him? Because at the moment it's all about convincing him not to go, no?
Well, it depends on both parties. Under our position, we have to manage the club, and this is the main thing in Barca. The club is over everybody, and we consider that Messi has been for a long time with us, and he has he keeps his aim to be with us till the end of his career, and he's one-man club. So we consider that he realizes really, and he's aware of what the situation of the club. So it won't be difficult to reach an agreement with him.
Nowadays, I know that Messi is not, thinking just in money. He needs a very competitive proposal in terms of, he could appreciate that Barca will be winning Champions League again. And this is my priority, and I'll do my best in order to continue this very nice history of football that is the history of love between Messi and Barca.
A clear question, but that is very helpful, I suppose, for the Barcelona fans. Is Barcelona close to bankruptcy?
Technically, it is, because at the end of the day, you look at the balance sheet, and we owe a lot of money, and actually a big chunk of that money is short-term debt, and therefore, obviously, that risk technically is there, and the risk of becoming or losing this very unique trait that we have, which is the ownership model, a club owned by 150,000 members, that is at risk. But we've been working hard for many years to have a solution and to ensure that this is avoided. The club, we want to ensure that we want to make possible that the club is kept in the hands of its socios, its members, and that we remain competitive. And that is basically what the plan we have if we are honored to be selected by the members to represent them. That's the plan we will execute.
Well, I think this to say that is not fair. It's true that Barcelona is at a critical situation, but it's not different from other previous situation that Barca went through during his history. For example, when I became member of the board in 2010 under the presidency of Sandro Rosell, we found a club with 400 million of incomes and 560 millions of debts. So more debts than incomes. And we could overcome this situation. So at this point, we will have to do the same. And we did it. So we need to reduce our expenses, especially wages of players, of course. We have to renegotiate our debts and to wait to the end of the pandemic, because in this situation we will be able to open our facilities, our stadium, our museum, shops, and to generate economical resources and overcome again our situation. So it's a critical situation, this is true, but we are not on the verge of bankruptcy.
And that's, out of all the things that you said, the hardest thing will be to tell the players, would you like to play for us, but earn less money? That won't be easy, won't it?
Well, we have to sit down with them. And I think they are aware of the situation of the club because everybody knows. Messi, some weeks ago, at an interview, recognized that he knows what's the situation of the club. So, at the end, the club will have to decide, and players will have to decide as well. And I hope that we together we will find a solution for this situation. But it's impossible for the club to pay wages if incomes have dropped 400 million euros. So this is something easy to understand.
Barca, like most of clubs in Europe, is having difficult times in terms of economics. But our proposal is work and work very well in order to revert this situation. The formula is, work and work very well in order to control the expenses, to reorganize the debt, and to generate new incomes. You know that football nowadays there are a very big business opportunities in digital business opportunities in entertainment industry, and we have a team that I'm sure that we will revert these economical situations, and we put Barca as a leader in terms of management of the clubs in the world.
It's part of your plan, financial plan, to sell parts of Barcelona to outside investors.
No, what we obviously need to have, so for example, this Barca corporate project that has been explained, which is exactly what you say, right? I mean, to sell 49% of certain assets in exchange for money. I think that the concept makes sense, i.e. bringing strategic partners to help Barca develop the B2C part of the business. So this plan to monetize millions of funds around the world, to ensure that you do this hand in hand with strategic partners that maybe can also bring capital, bring money to make it happen. I think that the idea makes sense. And actually, we've been working on a similar idea for the last couple of years. What I don't think needs to be done is to rush things so that you sell 49% of many assets for a low amount of money, because this would be probably driven by short-term pressure, by the need to have a cash inflow in the very short term. And we cannot, sell such strategic assets at low prices now.
You're talking about bringing income from outside sources, but still being in control of the sources, the season ticket holders. The balance of that, it's going to be the magic, or if you become the chairman, is a difficult step, isn't it, to take?
Yeah, but that's the challenge, and that's why for the first time in our history, this is not about selecting a chairman and a board that based on perceptions, based on how cool this guy is or looks like. For the first time, and I think that now the members, the socios know, right? We need teams, we need talent, we need people with strong track records, we need people that are able to manage complex business situations, so that then what members care about, which is retaining Messi, having a competitive team, winning silverware, becomes a reality.
No, not at all. We're totally against that any action that places us close to become a limited company. We have an ownership model. Barca is a club, belongs to more than 150,000 members, and we have to keep our identity. And these ideas to make investors come inside our management, inside the club, this is very dangerous. So we must generate more resources, of course. We have to generate commercial incomes, but not to attract investors that maybe will get the management of the club, and we jeopardize our ownership model. So we are totally against that.
Are you in favor of the European Super League?
Well, in order to answer this question, I need more information. I'm sure that the Super League, the European Super League, without Barca, will not be the best Super League. If I'm president again, I'm open to know the proposal. But again, I need more information in order to answer this question.
Well, first, truth to be told, although I've been following this closely, also being in touch with people that are close to the situation, I don't know the details, and therefore difficult to give you a very strong opinion about something I'm not fully aware of. Conceptually, as I've been explaining, we believe in the need and in the opportunity of strengthening the current Champions League concept or model, so that we do not need to wait another 7 years to go back to Anfield and beat Liverpool, which is what we want to do after the defeat last year, but without killing the national championships. I think that that's important, so that for the broader football ecosystem, we believe it's important to have not just a super league like the NFL or the NBA, and that's it, but a strong, attractive European championship, and then the national leagues.
Well, this is something that is just an idea, I think. We need more information. We are against of this in this initial and uncertain phase of this Super League. We're against, because we need more information. And of course, we want to get profit from our participation in competitions, not only European competition, but also in Spanish league, in La Liga. But we think that everything we do, we need to count on the consensus from national federations, the rest of the clubs, the world of football in general. So at this point, I think this is only an idea, and we must keep calm and get more information.
Finally, a sporting question. How difficult is it going to be for Barcelona to be competitive again, to be at the top again regularly? And what's your sporting way of getting there?
Well, I had this experience in 2003, and was the same. There were losers, there were a huge debt, and too much expenses, and the incomes were lower than the expenses. That's mean that at that time we reversed the situation, and the situation nowadays is very similar. And my formula is work very well in order to reverse the situation, controlling the expenses, reorganizing and restructuring the debt, and new lines of incomes, new generations of incomes, in order to if we added these incomes to the traditional incomes, I'm sure that we will reverse this situation. We know football business, we know the football world, and I'm convinced that we will reverse this situation.
Barcelona is competitive nowadays. The last 12 leagues, Barca has won 8 out of 12 in the last year. So competitive Barcelona is still playing at a high level. What we really have lost is our style. So we dream of becoming again the team who dominates European football with our style. So our style that we have to apply not only in our first squad, but also in our youth teams. And for what we count on Luis Carreras. Luis Carreras is a coach, former player coached by Johan Cruyff, teammate of Pep Guardiola and Tito Villanova. And he believes absolutely in our style of football, this style of football that makes us different, that makes that everybody recognizes this style of playing football that at this moment maybe is Manchester City, the team that really plays in this style. So we want to recover our style with Luis Carreras, to count on young players coming from youth sides of our club, and to go to the market to maybe join new players, but only under our conditions, economical conditions, sustainable for our management under this critical situation. So our sporting plan goes with Luis Carreras, and this idea that everybody recognizes that this is the Barca idea.
It's very clear, right? I mean, we need to go back to our roots and have in charge of the sports organization the ones that know our style of play, the one we want to preserve and strengthen the best. And this is why we selected Xavi to be at the helm of our sports organization. And we've built a sports organization with different pieces that complement each other very well. This is not just about, bringing a new coach here and there and thinking that you replace the coach and everything gets solved. That doesn't happen in the world of sports. You need a proper sports organization. And since these guys believe very much that, betting on the academy, on the youth, on the young talent that emerges within the club is critical, not just economically. It's also because these guys then, if they have the talent, they've been trained for many years and they know our style of play. Therefore, they can be more competitive when they are at the first team. And also because these are the guys that are more committed to the club. They feel, the colors much more. And all that in the 21st century, you see it, right? Attitude and commitment is sometimes as relevant as talent. So it is through doing that, and obviously then complementing if there is a gap here and there, complementing it by having a sports organization that can select the right talent that can complement what comes from within. That's the way to go, right? That's the way to go to remain competitive and being competitive, also ensuring that the culés are very much happy and pleased with the type of game they see.
And Koeman to stay next season, by the way?
Well, that we will see, right? That's the sports organization's call. Hopefully, we believe that he needs to be supported. That's why we are very much pushing and trying to see if we can still sign Eric Garcia, because that's been a demand from the sports organization. And despite the finances of the club, we believe, and we've also had discussions with the different parties to understand if the club could afford it. I think that we could afford it. And therefore, that's just an example of what we believe we need to do to support the sports organization and in this case the coach to ensure that we can have the best competitive team within the means, within the possibilities that we currently have.
I don't think this campaign is a question of names, because situation of the club is very difficult. So we need to explain to all the members what's our idea of the management of the club, what really Barca needs for the future. This is a very, very important elections, and members must decide what's the better option, the best option. And of course, we consider that the best option is ours.
My main motivation to be president again is to keep Barca as a club that belong to its members. The members are the owners of the club, and this is an association that we would like to maintain. And to maintain this association, we need to be sustainable economically. And I told you that our formula, our plan is work and work and work very well in order to control expenses, in order to restructure the debt, and in order to generate new incomes in order to solve the economical situation that the club is, suffering nowadays. I'm sure that we know how to put Barca as a reference of football clubs again. And this is our main motivation, to return the happiness to our members.
So you've heard from the three candidates. What do you think? Let me know via Twitter. And of course, subscribe to the channel and all those things that you're supposed to do. Remember, there's a podcast as well on this. I want to hear from you. Let me know.